From the Ticats Audio Network, this is Ticats Today with Louie Butko.
This is a 48-yard field goal attempt. It would put Montreal ahead by 1. The snap, the hold, the kick, and it is good. Cote hits from 48 yards, and Montreal is up by 1. There's 0 on the clock. The game is over. Montreal wins on a field goal on the last play of the game, and they win by a point. Heartbreaking for the Tiger Cats.
RJ Broadhead with the call, as heard right here on the Ticats Audio Network. Yeah, Ticats dropping a game in Montreal, 29-28, the final. Fall to 3-7 on the season. Lots to get into on the game, and we'll do that with Mike Daly, Ticats Audio Network analyst, coming up in just a little bit. Yeah, it is Ticats Today on the Ticats Audio Network. Louie Butko here with you on a Monday morning, and yeah, it's a little bit rainy, but the sun still rose on Sunday. So despite the fact the Ticats are 3-7, they're still just one game back in first place. And the next three, a pretty huge stretch of games, and huge might be putting it lightly. The Argos back-to-back, starting Friday in Toronto, Monday, Labor Day Classic, and then a bye week, and then right after that, the Montreal Alouettes. So the three biggest games of the season still ahead on the calendar. Ticats 3-7, Montreal Alouettes 4-6, Toronto Argonauts 4-5. So the East is still theirs for the taking. They just need a win on Friday. We'll get to a lot of focus on that game all throughout the week here on Ticats Today. You can also check out any other great shows on the Ticats Audio Network. A new episode of the Coach O Show dropping today. You got the CFL This Week dropping tomorrow. And then, of course, Game Day Friday. Lots of coverage to lead you right into kickoff starting at 7:30. All right, let's hear from the head coach. So let's hear from Orlando Steinauer. Here's what he had to say after the game on Saturday.
It's just tough. It was one of those games, and we had an opportunity to hold them there. I thought I was just proud of the way we battled, but we had opportunities, I believe, in all three phases, and ultimately down on defense there to hold them to at least a longer opportunity there, and it didn't happen. Well, we talk about things internally, and we wanted to come away with with touchdowns, and sometimes you got to play to win. And we had the whole game in front of us. At the end of the day, we had the lead with however many seconds left, and we didn't come through. I thought Matthew played solid. I thought they gave us a lot of looks, and I thought he stood in there and threw the ball. On a few, there's a couple he probably want back, but we got to help him out on a couple also. There was a couple that I think the receivers could have helped him out a little bit. And then, unfortunately, we had, with the change at center, we had a couple of snaps that really put us behind a little bit. And so, there's certain plays in the game you would want back, but at the end of the day, it's football, and they're just tough. You gotta play a full 60 minutes, and today was just a testament of CFL football. Just a playmaker, works hard every day in practice, and made a huge play. I thought Matt did a great job of keeping the play alive there, and Tim did what he does, and that was make plays. Yeah, I think we play in 6 days, and that's what we control. This is a jagged pill to swallow. Super proud of the guys. I thought they battled, and we just got to take advantage of opportunities. But yeah, we know what's ahead of us. We got two more games against Toronto back to back, and that's just what it is.
And that is the head coach and president of football operations, Orlando Steinauer, as he spoke after the game on Saturday. Still had Mike Daly, Ticats Audio Network analyst, former Ticat. We'll hear from Matthew Shiltz in just a second as well. Ticats fans, it's time to ride on our strength. From now until October 13th, purchase 4 eligible Hercules passenger or light truck tires to receive a $100 Ticats rewards card and be entered to win our road trip sweepstakes. Available at participating Active Green and Ross, Ontario locations, or visit HerculesTires.com/AGR rewards. The Ticats still reeling. Not back at the practice field. They will be back tomorrow. We'll be back at Tim Hortons Field tomorrow as well. But Matthew Shiltz was named the game's top performer. Speaking of Hercules tires, he was 27 of 39. That's 70% completion rate for 303 yards and 2 touchdowns, both of those to Tim White. Here is what Matt Shiltz had to say after the game.
I mean, I'm just bummed we got the loss, definitely opportunities on all 3 phases of the game to take advantage and capitalize on some certain things. And as an offense, we got to find a way to get in the end zone there in the first quarter. And, I had a couple throws that I want back and a couple of throws that I'm proud of. It's usually how it goes. And obviously when we watch the film, we'll be able to see a little bit more in detail. But I thought we moved the ball pretty well. And, we were able to get the ball and move it down the field. So again, it just goes down to capitalizing on those opportunities and not taking penalties or critical mistakes in certain situations. Not with this team. I think you saw how we've been able to respond to adversity the last few weeks, and I definitely think it's a situation where we're growing in the right direction. Like, we know we have the guys in this room that can get it done. A better pass here or a stop there, or a punt here. I mean, you can go down the list on plays from every single player on the field. So it's not one individual, no one individual fault. It's a team game. Football's the ultimate team game, and we have a strong locker room and guys stick together and nobody turns on each other. And that's ultimately what's gonna turn it for us. And we feel it. So we just got to find a way to finish these games.
And that's Ticats quarterback Matthew Shiltz as he spoke after the game on Saturday. All right, for more on that game and to look ahead to Friday, very pleased now to be joined by Ticats Audio Network analyst Mike Daly, former Ticat himself. Mike, that one stings. The Ticats had the lead, less than 3 minutes to go. It's a kick in the gut, isn't it?
Yeah, that one was really tough, right? Because you get that emotional high after Seth Small kicks that field goal, and you're like, you know what? It's going our way. And then, the 2 plays down and then them to finish off with a field goal. I mean, at the end, you just you feel for everyone on that team because you're like, oh my God, they cannot catch a break, right? And it's all 3 phases where they can't catch a break. It's not like, one side's struggling or the other side's playing well. It's all 3 phases, and it's frustrating.
Yeah, and coach after the game, and I've learned that coach is very careful with what he says. He doesn't say anything accidentally, and he did say the defense needs to make a stop there in the fourth quarter. And I'm not going to sit here and say, the defense cost the Ticats the game, because that's silly, because the defense has saved more games, with this team. But when you're in the last 3 minutes there, that's where the touchdown happened with Reggie White. That's where the field goal happened. I mean, what do you take from that? How can what do you extrapolate from that final 3 minutes there?
Yeah, like you put that you tell the defense before the game, hey, listen, we're going to be up with whatever it was 36 seconds left on the clock, and they're going to have to drive the field. Or you feel confident in stuff. Every single person on that defense can be like, absolutely, put us in that position, right? So I know for a fact that they're in those meeting rooms, whether it's today or whether it was yesterday, and just being like, this one's on us, guys. Mm-hmm. Like, we had the lead and we had a chance to end it with us on the field, for it to be 0 on the clock with us on the field. We can't be giving up those bomb touchdowns to get them back into the game with, like what you mentioned with Reggie White. And we can't be missing tackles or letting them drive the field to get into field goal position, because this is on us now, because it does not matter what happened at the beginning of that game. We were on the field with an opportunity to win it and a tough drive that they had to manage, and it's on us.
Yeah, I mean, and there's going to be a lot of talk about that this week. And again, I think this defense has won the Ticats more games than it has lost them. But for sure, you would think that there's a lot of focus on that this week. That being said, I mean, the Ticats aren't a bad football team, are they?
It's one of those things where you look at it, you go, what the heck's going on? Like, how are they losing these games? Because, they come out, especially early on in the season, they come out in those first and second quarters and look like they're the best team in the CFL, right? And then it's just a series of events that happens. And it's not, like I said, it's not just the offense. It's not just the defense. It's not just the special teams. It's a series of events with all 3 that just end up being like, you leave and you're like, what is this team? Like, what's going on here? Well, how come they cannot pull these things out. It's frustrating. And I imagine the way we talk about it, that's exactly what's going on in the locker room, because they're probably just like, guys, we got to figure something out here.
Matt was really quick after the game on Saturday to say nobody's getting at each other. We've all got each other's back, and nobody's snapping on one another. No element of no phase of the game is defense isn't snipping at offense. Is that easier said than done? I mean, football, the one thing I've learned about football teams is there's a lot of guys and there's a lot of personalities. So to be able to control the emotions, considering the 3-7 where the Ticats are, how difficult is that, for a full room, for guys individually? Because I get the sense that, there's frustration, but to stay together as a team, like that takes some work.
Yeah, it is definitely difficult, but the nice thing about Coach O and how he's kind of always talked about at the beginning is, it's always the defense playing their defense. So if their defense gets 3 picks, our defense has to get 4 picks, right? If their offense goes for 350 yards, the Ticats offense has to go for 340 or 350, right? Whatever it is. So he does a good job that way, but I will tell you, as players in there, it is very difficult if one is way far and above better than the other. But like I said, right now, it's one of those things where it's kind of on everybody at this point, right? So it's really hard to sit there and point fingers and say, okay, no, this is on the offense, no, this is on the defense. That's when it gets difficult. But I'm sure right now they're all sitting there looking at each other being like, we all need to be a little bit better to win these games. And I think really Matt Shiltz probably exactly correct, where nobody's really getting after each other, because it's more of a, hey, let's put some extra work in, or wherever we have to find that extra juice to pull these games out.
Well, this team, we hear a lot about, platitudes, and, the only thing guaranteed is adversity. I mean, this is adversity. This is 3-7. This is, you can't string together more than a win at a time before getting into the loss column. I mean, how difficult is it to fight through those platitudes, those sayings that we hear every day, and get back to work and just do the job?
Yeah, it's frustrating, the point that, because it's like, I know this is adversity, but why can we not pull this out, right? Like I understand you keep telling me this is adversity, and that's what we're guaranteed, but why have we not been able to figure it out now with all of this adversity that we've had? But the thing is when you look at it, right, and I'm sure this is the conversation that's going on, is the Ticats still have an opportunity to get first in the East, and be in a good position for playoffs. So it's one of those things where it's like, hey, you can feel sorry for yourself, but guess what? We put a string of 2 games together, right? Win this next one with Toronto, and then win again to then get the series break over them. And then you have Montreal again to win that series. You're kind of in a position where it's still all in front of you, which is insane to think, isn't it?
Well, it is insane to think, but I mean, like we've said, the Ticats haven't been blown out of the water. They haven't been beaten. Like, they're not a bad team. And when you put them up against any other team, especially in the East, on paper, they're the better team. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, I think, Matt Shiltz has proven in the last couple of games, he's a good starting quarterback. I think he's still got some work to do, but, I take this Ticats defense over anybody in the East. I take a lot of these Ticats receivers over anybody in the East. I mean, that's where it gets to you, where the season isn't over by any stretch.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where when you see them losing the games, especially early on, you would look at those games the way they lost, and it was just these, like, it's like a series of unfortunate events where it's like, tip passes that end up back into like a Willie Jefferson's hands, right? Like a drop pass that gets kicked back up and then it's a pick. Like these weird things that are happening, and that's how they end up losing the games. But you're absolutely right. When you look at it on paper, you look and go, and I'm sure this happens to the other teams in the CFL. They look at the Ticats and say, hey, I know the records are 3-7, but we cannot take these guys for granted, because at any point they can become explosive on offense. They can shut you down on defense, right? Lawrence Woods can take one back to the house. It's it is a scary team to look at when you're scouting them. But at some point, there's got to be something where it's like how it's like just to find a way.
Yeah,
That's what it's got to be, and that's the fine tuning of the details and the small things that are happening in the games.
Well, the one thing Coach always says is you just got to have more points than the other team at the end, right? Yeah. I mean, it's as simple as that. And again, Coach said it after the game. He said they need a full 60-minute effort, and which makes it that much, because I mean, we talk about adversity, what this team has gone through. I mean, this team's lost back-to-back Grey Cups. I mean, what more adversity do they have to go through? And to the point, what more adversity do fans have to go through before they start to see the results on the field? Because, I mean, everything's still ahead of them, but 3-7, not where anyone thought this team would be through the first 10 games.
No, but if you remember back to, except for that 1 year in 2019, I think, where it was 13 and 3 was the record. Every other year where the Ticats ended up making it to the Grey Cup, or how they started the season, right? Even that 0-8 year where they made it to the semis or whatever it might have been, it was just kind of a disaster of a beginning of the season, right? Yeah. So the nights again, when you look at the Ticat fan, I don't want to say they're accustomed to it, but I mean, I just did, I guess. So it's one of those things where, they understand that this team will figure it out at some point. You just hope it doesn't become too late. And I think these next 2 games against Toronto, if they go the same route that the season's been going, then that's too late, right? But stick with them, because you need one win, and then you need to finish off Toronto, and you're right back in it. And once you make the playoffs, anything can happen, and everybody knows that.
They did really miss Ciante Evans and Jamal Roll, didn't they?
Yeah, big time. It's tough when you go up, especially a guy like Eugene Lewis, where he's gonna ask for 8 to 10 targets a game, and they're gonna look that way. And Des Lawrence, if you remember, he did awesome in that past year on that stretch right before he got hurt, right before the Grey Cup. He was the rookie of the year for the Ticats. He was playing awesome, but it is hard to then be inserted back into the season so late, or I guess midway through the season, and just be right back to where you were. So to miss a guy like Jamal Roll over there on Eugene Lewis, and then Ciante really understanding and being such a vet out on that field corner, it's a tough thing for those 2 guys to step in, especially Alden Darby, who's been at every different position, right? And he'll say I thought he played pretty well, but he'll say, no, I got to be able to make plays out there for sure, because he's a professional. But it is a difficult thing to just step into a new position like that and face for Des, Eugene Lewis, and Alden Darby on a brand new spot.
Let's talk some positives. It was really great to see Tim White have a game like he did. Not just the catches, but the run after, yards after the catch. The yak is what really jumped off the page. A lot of chemistry with Matt Lass on Saturday night.
Yeah, they were connecting. You know what? Tim White, when you watch the film, he's getting open, and he's running his routes crisp. He's looking really good this year. It's just about finishing those plays, and I think that game he did, right? And he definitely finished those plays, and he was a favorite target for Matt Shiltz. And it looked really, really good, because you can tell when Tim White's on, nobody can cover him. He's too much faster than everybody, right? He was coming back, like Andy said on the game breakdown. He was coming back to the ball a lot, right? Which Andy said maybe there was a little that he needed to work on a little bit, but he was attacking that ball. He was routing guys up. He looked really, really good. And if this Matthew Shiltz thing is a long-term deal, not sure with the health of Dane Evans, right? And he needs to rely on Tim White. Tim just needs to keep playing like that, and we all know he's capable of it.
Yeah, really great to see. And had the big game the week before, after being a little bit quieter from what we had been used to seeing from Tim, especially last season. What would you be looking for at practice this week? Big test against the Argos on Friday, short week again, and back-to-back with the Argos. You just played them. You probably don't have to review too much film. They did play Saturday as well against Calgary, but what would you be focused on at practice this week?
Yeah, well, definitely that Calgary tape, because, anytime a team is able to beat the Argos or the team you're facing next, you definitely want to see how and why they were able to pull that out. But the weird thing about pro sports and the long season of the CFL is that if you start going way too outside of the box, you're kind of getting out of your preparation, fundamentals and the stuff you think works, right? So I think you just look for just maybe more attention to detail. Maybe Coach O, brings the guys back into the locker room at like a halftime throughout the practice, or maybe sits them down for a little bit and says, listen, we are in the fourth quarter now. Here we go. Let's see us dial it up a little bit. Small things like that, which I know he's doing. But really outside of that, you just have to prep the way the coaches will prep them the way they know how to, right? And then maybe it's really on the players to say, you know what, maybe we don't leave here at 3:00. Let's get some extra film in till 4:30, 5:00, and then get a lift in or something. Whatever it's got to be a little bit more. But really, when you get to this point in the season, it's on the players to make sure that they're really putting those extra details in to make it get us into the win column, really.
Well, just for fans, fans might not know this, that, once, I think it's 1:00, there's only a certain amount of time that coaches, because of the CBA, there's only a certain amount of time that coaches can actually coach, right? And so after 1:00, you say it's on the players. It's not just like O can say, hey guys, we have to do extra reps today, or we have to stick around. And that's why I think it's such and I've seen this, just being around the team, whether it's ordering lunch in to watch extra film. I mean, this is a team that has leaders and it's easy for those younger guys to see a Dylan Wynn put in the time and be motivated to stay a little bit later. Because if you look at Wynn or Micah or all these guys who stay late, if they're doing it, they must be doing something right. Yeah,
and especially because you can see the play on the field. But like I said, it's about those guys saying, okay, you know what, we are going to stay after, because you're absolutely right. The coaches aren't even allowed to say that. They're not even allowed to converse with us, to converse with the players after 1:30, right?
Yeah.
Like, here, we'll put a laptop in there, sure, and you can watch film on your own, but we're not allowed to be in there. So it is on these players. So that's probably what's so frustrating for them, right? Because I know, and that too, Dylan Wynn, Micah Johnson, Simone Lawrence, those type of guys are putting in that extra time. So maybe it's about, another hour of film, maybe it's about different type of film watching, whatever it is. But that's what's so frustrating, because they are putting in that time. They are working hard. They are trying to, dot all their I's and cross all their T's. And this is kind of the way it is. So they have to figure out something a little bit more just to be able to make the playoffs at this point.
Frustrating seems to be the word of the day, the word of the week. Hopefully the Ticats can turn it around. Mike, thanks for helping me break down Saturday and look ahead to Friday. Appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, good to see you, Louie.
That is Mike Daly, Ticats Audio Network analyst and a former Ticat himself. Just this time last year he was just playing. So always great to have his insights and analysis here on the Ticats Audio Network. All right, that'll do it for us today. Just a reminder that Ticats fans, it's time to ride on our strength from now until October 13th. Purchase 4 eligible Hercules passenger or light truck tires to receive a $100 Ticats rewards card and be entered to win our road trip sweepstakes. Available at participating Active Green and Ross, Ontario locations, or visit HerculesTires.com/AGR rewards. We are back tomorrow from practice, same time, same place, right here on the Ticats Audio Network. I'm Louie Butko. Hoping you have a great day.
Ticats Today can be heard every weekday, and we would like to hear from you. Email us at gameday@ticats.ca. Have a question or an opinion? We want to hear it. That's gameday@ticats.ca. Subscribe to the Ticats Audio Network on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.